Monday morning. Welcome to the next installment of my writing blog that I've just started. If you're new here, my name is Carly, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm an indie author who publishes queer fantasy books. And this is the start of another week of managing to juggle my 9 to 5 with everything that I want to do, need to do, running my own indie imprint. I think this week is probably going to be mainly focused on getting the pre-orders for volume 6 set up. When I started the series, I always made myself a promise that I would have the next volume in the series ready for pre-order, even if the cover's not there yet, at the time when the previous volume publishes. It doesn't really, I don't think it has made such a difference. It was more like a promise to the reader, oh yes, it's going to be finished. I don't want to pull a Patrick Rothfuss on you or something like that. And so far, I've always managed it. As I said, I don't have the final cover yet. I have seen sketches from the artist, but I haven't had the final file yet. So I'm going to put up a final cover to come thing. But the main thing for me is that it's actually the process has started. For the next books, it's going to be a bit easier because I the first one for next year, I already have the cover. So this is going to be up for pre-order and probably also up for ARC copy reading a bit earlier. And it's also like more young adult adjacent, which, yeah, it's a bit different. So that's the main objective for this week. Also, I want to make more notes, gather more ideas for the new first draft that I want to start, and like the heart of this writing vlog. What else? I want to start and load up the car for my event, not this weekend, but next weekend. But I know myself, I need to space up, especially when it's incredibly hot outside. I need to space out the loads a bit so I don't get totally overwhelmed, because I have a lot of stuff to take for the first time in doing books with my little gazebo. I'm also doing craft markets because I'm also a spinner, dyer, and knitter. That's one of the latest things that I made. And I'm selling yarn and like simple knits, sometimes at craft markets. For this, I bought myself a little gazebo beginning of the year, and so the upcoming event at my local Pride is the first one where I'm actually taking all the books and the gazebo, and the books are much heavier than all the woolly stuff. So I need to pace myself with the loading of the car. So that's one of the things that I need to do this week. What else? And I also need to start working through the next project that is going to copy editing, because I need to work in some beta reading feedback. So that's one big thing as well. That's supposed to go to copy editing end of July. I also have the other manuscript to finish that needs to go to beta reading end of July. So lots of stuff going on. And I will update you as I go along. I just had a really, really good note-taking session in the coffee shop. Um, it was lovely and cool. Now I'm back home, and I've just the walk up is just I'm bathed. Um, but I it's really funny sometimes. You sit down, you have about an hour, and you come up with so many things that have floated around before. So before I sat down today, I knew roughly the three main characters. I knew the setting because that's from the last volume in the series. I roughly thought, okay, I'm going for about between 60,000 to 80,000 words. I found out today that it's probably a double POV thing, and what the main goal of the story will be. I didn't know that before, but that usually, so I have like one scene that I want to write, and I don't know how to get to that scene. And I think I knew more about the relationships between those three main characters than I knew about the main motivation, like the main reason to tell the story. And that's usually how it goes with my projects. But now I think I know. So that's really, really exciting. And I thought too, because I've already started to scribble in the booklet, but I thought we could open this one together because that's always a really exciting moment for me. Each and every project, open the notebook. Would open. Yes. And this is actually the first time that I'm writing in a notebook that is not ruled but has like these funny little dotted squares. I wanted um, to see how I can deal with it. It's also because this one was um, like a promo gift, because I think I've ordered. I had like one big Leuchtturm order, and then they had like a promo code where you could add this book for free to any order, and I did, and it has those funny dotted squares. So this is going to be a new thing for me as well, um, because I'm so set in some things, but I'm trying to try out bits and pieces, and even if it's just not using a ruled notebook, but you know, you probably know how it is. Um, but exciting times. So now I can do slip this one under the strap, or I will probably put it inside and close the strap because otherwise it's going to be all over the place. Now it's nice and pristine. The problem with these light colors is they they will look horrible once it's been in my bag everywhere with me for 2 weeks. I'm going to call it now. Today I started Dragon Watch on my lunch break. Um, Usually it starts with me knowing the first sentence of the project, and then it goes. So today I wrote 4.5 pages. That's half a chapter. Um, the beginning tends to be a bit slower, and after a while, I'm usually writing a chapter a day. Um, this has 250 pages, so for now, I'm sort of thinking about 25 chapters. but I might find that I need more. Um, at the moment, I'm considering whether I should start a double POV from basically the beginning, first chapter, then POV change. At the moment, I'm tending to, like, I think I'm going to do that, but I'm probably going to wait until the end of the chapter to see if that's really what I want to do. I definitely know the two POVs already. Um, one of the characters is a character that I've already created, but she's now a bit older. I'm thinking about 20 years older, um, and has her own children. So that's sort of what I'm thinking of. Um, as I said, with my last note taking session, I sort of started to figure out the heart of the story. It might change, but at least I'm knowing where I'm going. I always said that it feels a bit like being on a horse and then you point the head of the horse in one direction and then the horse starts to move. And everything else that you do has some influence on it, but the horse moves by itself. That's how it feels to me a bit. It's at some point the characters will take control, and the story develops its own sense of this needs to happen now, that should happen now. And that's the moment that I'm waiting for when I'm writing, like the moment when the story takes the reins. So that's Monday and Tuesday down. I actually managed to type up my manuscript, which is amazing. Um, I I didn't realize, I forgot that I hadn't actually finished the whole notebook, so there were a bit of a chunk of blank pages left at the end. So that was a welcome surprise. I think I must have stopped at about 68,000 words, which is perfect. That's actually exactly what I wanted to do. From so in one of those, it's about 50,000 words. So that's roughly what I'm going for again. And then the next thing I need to do is looking at the manuscript for copy editing, which is going to be a novella, a standalone novella. Hopefully, it shouldn't take me too long to work through it, but yeah, I'm keeping everything my fingers crossed for that one. So in the next days, that's one of the projects that I need to do. I also need to do the cover for volume 6, the interim cover. I need a template for that so I can get get the measurements right. I It's actually a bit longer than the last volume, so it's going to have 398 pages. So I need to submit a request for a cover template so I can make everything fit and prep. So once I have the image, I can put that in, but I always have everything else, like the blurb, like author bio, everything ready with like a blank cover. Um, so everything's set for when the image arrives. That's probably the rest of the week. But it's good that I have like the main typing event over with. I'm going to give it a few days before I then start to read through it again and create a third draft. The third draft usually doesn't differ that much from the second draft. I think my main work is in editing is getting from the first to the second draft because I can take out whole paragraphs if I'm not feeling them anymore. Or sometimes for continuity reasons, I maybe forgot that I had something before, then put it in again. This happens a lot. And then third to fourth draft, that's usually where like beta reading to then my revisions. And again, that's a much bigger step in between where I will often add new scenes or expand scenes. It's usually expanding, not so much cutting anymore. I tend to go smaller, 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 smaller. And then the beta reading feedback says, oh, we need something here, or we need like a bridging scene, or we need more in the scene about the relationship of these two people. That's usually how it works. And then that's then the version that goes to copy editing, unless I've had another pass at it. I try not to have too many, but sometimes you have projects that you want to get as much distance from as you can. It's one of the reasons why I want to have the novella as the next copy editing project, because the project that I had originally slotted in that spot, I'm not happy with. I need more time on that one. I need to do a new pass and probably away quite a few scenes. Not quite sure yet, but I want to give myself the chance to have a last work through and last new draft of this one. So yeah, lots to do. It's supposed to be a bit cooler from tomorrow onwards. Not that much, but at least a bit. Today was horrendous. It's starting to cool down a bit more in an hour, so I need to water the garden. It's a small garden, but I still need to water the pots so they don't die. I have one pot that I think has died, a Christmas box, but it hasn't been great for a few years, so I'm not too worried about that. So wish me luck. I hope I can add a few more pages tomorrow and then find my rhythm with the manuscript and see how we go from there. It's Wednesday evening and it has cooled down so much, for which I'm really, really thankful. The last week was brutal. I managed to get quite a bit done today. I actually finished my first chapter of the Dragon Watch. Chapter 2 is now starting. I think I might wait for the second POV to come in, just to make sure that I've established everything a bit before a second one comes in, because the other person, the other character, is not in the same place. So I think it's probably better to give it a bit of time until she barges into the party, because she's that type of person. Apart from that, I painted my nails, then did the washing up, and now I need to either get rid of the polish or just paint them again. I don't know, depending on how I'm feeling later today. And then I just finished setting up volume 6 on Lightning Source, by Ingram Sparks, and really, that's another big thing off my list. I spent most of this evening creating the EPUB file for it, because I've done it now so many times. Um, and I have lots of master pages set up and articles, so I only need to update them with like the volume 6 info. So that was a relatively quick thing. I'm still going to have to check the EPUB file on my e-reader, which I'm going to do a bit later. And once I've approved the softproof on Ingramsburg, I'm always ordering like one proof copy that I'm then taking my pen to again. So I have one more round of corrections, ideally one more, um, and can then also slot in the final cover for it. That's usually how I do it. Um, yes, that's sort of my win for the day. So I'm already like two big things this week that I've taken off my list. A, finishing typing up the manuscript, and B, setting everything up for volume 6. Technically, I have another manuscript that I need to type up. I'm writing a science fiction project with a friend of mine. It's in the world that he created, so I have like lots of brackets in the text, like to advise. Um, I've sort of divided it up by characters. I did the first character bit, but I have a second character. Um, so thankfully, it's not like a very long bit, probably around like 40,000 words. But I still need to type it up for him so he can read it, because at the moment it's in my horrible scrawl that no one can read. I mean, typing is an adventure all in itself, and I constantly need to figure out what word I was thinking of. But again, decision making, drafting in the process. So yeah, so there is another manuscript that technically I should type up pretty soon. Um, while I'm working on this one, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but technically also there is a project that I put down for the science fiction one, um, and the one that I've just finished typing. Yeah, and it's all already in, I'd say, at about 90,000 words. Yeah, that's probably right. More around 80,000. But I haven't finished it yet. But because I've been away from so long, I'm a bit worried that I'm making like really big continuity errors if I'm now jumping in again. So it would need to take a bit more time to get refamiliarized with the manuscript. So, and because I'm quite excited about Dragon Watch, I want to stick to that now. I might pause this one at some point to finish off the other one. Usually I don't do that. Usually I don't have two first drafts running next to each other. But I had a weird situation recently where I had three first drafts running, and that didn't work. So I had to jump off two of them, actually. No, sorry, one of them. You see, it's sort of an awful lot of organization going on. Tomorrow I'm in the office again and have like my lunch break to do stuff. So probably going to, if I'm lucky, do half a chapter. And I think the character's voice starts to crystallize in my head as well. It's first person present. I might change that later, but for now it's first person present. Um, and I'm thinking about making the first chapter available as sort of a magnet. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. And otherwise, stay tuned for the rest of the week. It's Thursday evening. And I wrote the second chapter, started one paragraph of the third. So I don't think I'm in the flow yet, but I did get more done today than I thought I would. And I also put over half of the boxes in the car that I need to have in there for the event. So that's another tick on my to-do list. And I think that's a good way to end the vlog here. So yeah, we have taken off. We are still waiting for the pull to actually happen, but I feel cautiously optimistic that I can end the vlog in a good place. It might it might already have changed completely while for the next episode. It depends, I think, if I've decided to add the second POV or not, or if I'm still maybe go back on my decision of having two POVs. Maybe I'm sticking to one. I don't know. um, leave an otter emoji in the comments if you made it this far. Um, thank you so much for being here and for joining me on this writing journey and frankly organizing journey. And see you next time.